Good morning, Leadership Coachella Valley on Facebook and on YouTube. Sean Webb, your board president for this year. We're continuing on with our LCV lunch conversations during COVID-19 in the month of May. This week, we are focusing on restaurants. And with us, we have two of our alumni that are going to join us in our conversation. We have Eric Morcus and we have Todd Flood. Good morning, gentlemen. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. Fine.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us. You know, as I shared, we're trying to do this weekly, at least through the month of May. We're trying something different here with Leadership Coachella Valley so we can engage our alumni, we can engage our current class, and we're hoping to continue this on. So I'm glad you're able to be with us and help us focus on restaurants during COVID-19.
Glad to be here.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank
You know, Todd, why don't you give yourself, if you can introduce yourself to everybody. I know you through Leadership Coachella Valley, but maybe if you can introduce yourself, please.
So, as you said, my name's Todd. I am partners in Maracas Restaurants with Jack Trebnick, also an alumni. We have opened Maracas in Palm Springs 14 years ago. We also have the one in Rancho Mirage, and that was 9 years ago. And then about 5 years ago, I opened JT's Diner on Cook. So I have 3 restaurants out here that I kind of oversee, and I've been in the business about 40 years. I started with what's Castelli's out here, was a restaurant called Andrino's, opened in 1980 in San Clemente. And I worked for that family for about 9 years, and that's where I started. Moved to LA, worked with a couple different restaurant groups, and here I am.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll get to more details of how things are going on during this time frame in a second here. Eric, could you introduce yourself to our Facebook community and YouTube community, please?
Absolutely. Well, hello, Leadership Coachella Valley. First of all, you always talk about Leadership Coachella Valley, so indulge me for a minute. Can everyone see that? Okay. Just if there's any question out there, okay? If there's any questions, so obviously I went to Leadership Coachella Valley in 2018, and you can read what it said. So absolutely. So thanks for letting me be part of your day. It's great to be able to have interaction with people, even though it's just over a screen. But I've been out here in the desert about 15 years. My first job was in the restaurant business when I was 14 years old. And the last job I had when I shut down my restaurant for the summer was actually washing dishes. So currently my first and last job was being a dishwasher, and my hands are attest to that. But anyway, I've owned Kaiser Grill Palm Desert now for it'll be 5 years in August. I'm partners with my family with Jackalope Ranch over in Indio, and Kaiser Grill Palm Springs, and then also up in Carmel. Gosh, I'm blanking right now. It's so far away. Hog's Breath Inn, made famous by Mr. Clint Eastwood way back when. So
excellent. No, I definitely enjoyed the Hog's Breath when it was open over in La Quinta. I used to go there a lot.
Absolutely.
I enjoy your restaurants. I enjoy both your guys' restaurants all the time. Maybe if you guys, Todd, if you could tell me, how are you operating differently during COVID-19 since the middle of March and so forth?
So currently, JT's is closed.
Okay.
We closed early on. We tried the to-go and the takeout. Breakfast is a challenge because eggs and that kind of thing don't really travel very well outside of the restaurant. So we decided it was a tough decision. We'll close down and we'll reopen here soon. I'm thinking maybe 2 weeks. We've already started the process of putting in all the screening and that type of thing. And so we're moving that direction. Maracas Palm Springs, kind of in the same boat. Palm Springs is a challenge in that the streets actually just shut down. And there wasn't a lot of foot traffic or anything like that. And we depend on it heavily down there. So, you know, again, we decided to close that restaurant down, and we're gearing up again to open in about 2 weeks. So those restaurants are currently shut down. Rancho Mirage, we kept the Slice and Maracas open. And we're currently looking at remodeling and doing some things to the restaurants. We'll talk about that later, but the to-go and takeout business has been pretty good, pretty steady. And the addition of alcohol takeout has really helped. So
Yeah, I've been completely amazed with the. I thought I saw the other day in the city of Palm Springs they're going to allow for people to drink the alcohol on the sidewalks and in the parking lots now with an altered license.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
so does that mean in front of Maracas there, where Sonny Bono is, there technically I could go in, get a margarita, and stand there and have that margarita if I'm at Maracas?
My understanding is that it's going to be more about seating. So you still have to have some seating, but yes.
So it's not Las Vegas style where you get to walk around the streets.
That's my understanding. It's not going to be quite that. Yeah.
Okay. Who knows? It may change to that.
I hope.
It changes daily, it seems like.
Yeah, definitely. Before I move on to you, Eric, I just want to give a couple shout outs here. Beautiful thing about social media, we've got people watching, and Deborah Valdez, who's our LCV administrator, she says hello. And then we also have a past alum from LCV, Rebecca Rizzo says hello. So she just wanted to make sure to give them a shout out. Definitely. And Eric, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on with Kaiser Group since COVID-19 and so forth?
Well, I shut down Kaiser Grill in Palm Desert, obviously being more of a fine dining restaurant. It didn't make sense to do takeout, even though, as I'm hearing from a lot of my guests, my database, about half of them would do takeout. But it's really difficult to do that. And it's primarily because of my staff being on unemployment. So to bring them back at a reduced time financially, I can't ask them to come back to work in my hardest of hearts, knowing that they'll be working a couple days a week to do this, especially takeout where my serving staff, I won't need them. I won't need my bartenders. So financially for them, it's hard. I want it to be a service to the community, but to ask them to come back on unemployment, work 2 days a week where they're making the $600 a week plus unemployment now.
Right.
It's in my heart. I have a hard time doing that.
Okay.
So, but I'm still looking every day. I look at different ways of doing business, and having 2 months of a vacation is, made me go back down to the very root of why I do it and what I do and how to do it in the future.
Definitely.
But I have not forgotten to enjoy this. If you all remember that.
Oh, red vines.
Remember that? Remember that from
red
class
vines
1, I believe?
Yeah.
So I haven't had it since, but I'm not afraid of that anymore. And I'm not afraid of this stupid coronavirus here either. We will get through it. We will prosper, and we will thrive.
I love that. One thing, I've done a lot of these panel discussions with leadership Coachella Valley, and then I've done them also for Desert Sands. And my boss, my superintendent, Scott Bailey, has developed the motto, "We got this, DSUSD." And I feel like the whole Coachella Valley could use that hashtag, "We got this," because I see how, as people are struggling in both your restaurants, I'll flat out say, it sounds like it's definitely a struggle, but I see that restaurants and the community just coming together and just being outstanding during these times. Maybe Todd, you could talk about a little bit some of the things that you guys have done in regards to community since this has happened. I know that your restaurant group has been part of some things going on.
So, Jack's been very involved in different things as well as myself. Jack donated quite a few pizzas over to Fine Food Bank one day with why am I blanking? Nothing but cakes.
Yep.
And I guess I really love that. Jack and I have both been going over to the hospital and doing the pizzas on Mondays and burritos on Thursdays to the COVID floor in the ER, which seems to be pretty popular and very well appreciated. And it's great because I have twins that are both nurses, both frontline, and so I experienced firsthand what they're going through and their worries and their day-to-day life, and it feels good giving them something back. And so we're doing that. And then Jack has recently started the Great Plates program.
Yeah.
And that's why he's not actually on with us today, is because he's busily doing that right now.
Yeah,
Uh,
I put an ask out to all of our alumni with restaurants, and he said that he had that program going on. So I
yeah,
completely understand.
and it's going very well.
Oh,
Yeah,
Good.
well, that
yeah.
is great to hear. Eric, maybe if you could, do you have any advice you'd want to give to restaurant owners and so forth as we move forward, as California kind of
Absolutely.
opens up and so forth?
Sure. First of all, stay positive.
Yep.
Um, I've talked to more restaurants now than I would normally, because normally during the season we're all too busy to talk to each other, except for if you see someone on the street or out and about. But I've been talking to a number of them, and we're all in the same boat.
Hmm.
And it's easy to be isolated out there and to think the worst. But I think times like this kind of bring out your core beliefs. You know,
Yeah.
being if you have kind of a pessimistic outlook on life, it just makes it worse. And I really feel sorry for those people. I want to build them up and encourage them, but when you realize that, this is just part of life. Unfortunately, no one ever saw this. And I'm not saying it's great. I don't really enjoy not working or being productive, but trying to stay positive and realizing that, we have to just think differently, act differently, and then react and plan. There's a new normal out there that we don't know what it is quite yet. But being said that, Todd and Jack, thank you for being part of what you do out there. As I watch the news and see what you all do, you've done this for a long time in the community, and I commend you as fellow
Oh,
restaurateurs
thank you.
as just amazing people.
Yeah, well, yourself as well. I
Yeah,
mean, it is, and the restaurant community in general is very generous.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
And for the restaurateurs, just if they need anything, I'm the chairman of the board of the Chamber of Commerce. I want to give just a little plug for them. Is
Yes, please do.
we want to help people, whether
Yes.
you're part of the Chamber of Commerce or not. One thing I'm going to personally do is start a food drive, because obviously, a lot of restaurants are helping out the frontline workers and all that, which is fantastic. I'm not really able to do that, but I'm able to gather up, food to provide to people, whether they're unemployed people or food banks. But we'll be developing that in the next couple of days. So if anybody's interested, please reach out to me.
And that's with the Palm Desert Area Chamber of Commerce. So you guys are overseeing that? Okay.
Absolutely. I'll start doing that, because it's time to do something.
Definitely.
There's a hospitality fund put out by the CVB that we're going to be donating through the Restaurant Week Association that's been existing for a long time. Funds to most of that's going to go towards restaurant workers.
Right.
So we'll get more information on how to apply for that. But that's our way of helping out, because it's not always about food, which is great, but some people just need, canned goods or money or things of that nature. So, but we're all in this together, and we will get through it.
Most definitely. I agree with that completely. And the things that we're doing here, we're all pivoting and we're making things better, and we're changing and adapting. You mentioned something, Restaurant Week. I'll definitely say that in the beginning of June, late May, my wife and I, before Brooklyn, we would always go to at least 4 or 5 new spots each and every year to get a taste, and also to honestly to be able to get into some of those places, because some of those places are not available during the season. They're just too jam packed. Has are restaurants still moving forward with Restaurant Week and maybe offering different types of opportunities and so
There
forth?
will be Restaurant Week. We've
Okay.
moved it over to I can't remember the date, September, I think, ish.
Okay. Okay. So they just moved it to later in the year.
Absolutely, because there's a very good chance that the restaurants from the valley won't be able to open full capacity.
Right.
The way it stands now, it's probably, if tables are about 3 feet apart now as a standard, it'll be 6 feet apart, so that's half your capacity.
Right.
So it's a challenge. So it's not worth it to try and do something, especially when we don't know if we could even open on June 13th.
Yeah.
Having said that, from what I know from the county, is once we hit a certain level with number of tests versus people that actually have COVID, it'll go down. The way to do that is to get tested. So I encourage everybody to get tested to lower that number, because as you all know, Riverside County is a very big county, so our numbers quite aren't there.
Right.
Numbers are going down in terms of deaths and infections and all that, but our county is just too big to be able to do that without people getting tested.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. There's so many locations throughout the Coachella Valley, and I know that they're available free as well. So I agree with that.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Now, Todd, you were kind of touching upon a little bit with opening up. It sounds like you guys have put in some barriers and so forth. Can you go into a little bit more detail about that?
So yeah, it obviously, you've got to kind of do some remodeling. We
Hmm.
are, because we're a lot of booths in the restaurant, we're going to divide those up with glass barriers. We're actually pulling out a lot of tables.
Okay.
We've created an area in the restaurants or we've designated an area in the restaurants that we're going to do some retail type product. So Jack at the Slice, he'll be doing more of an Italian deli type thing with the you know um, tapenada and the cold cuts and
Okay.
cheeses and that kind of thing. Maracas, we've kind of looked at moving towards having an area where people can buy some different types of salsas and maza for tamales and pre-made meals and that type of thing, grab and go type stuff. Um, and that's kind of where we're headed. And then at JT's, I kind of thought, well, we're more of a nostalgic type place.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of moving in the direction of bringing in some things that are more um, nostalgic, like the old sodas
Okay.
and tin signs and that type of thing that we can sell retail.
Okay.
Um, and it's a way to compensate for the loss of tables.
Oh, definitely.
So that's I think that's the future of restaurants. You're going to have a little bit of restaurant, a little bit of to go and retail types products. A lot of restaurants have actually converted to almost like a grocery store.
Hmm.
So it's interesting.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. You talk of like JT's Diner, and I'm picturing like the movie Willy Wonka when they're going through the chocolate
Right.
factory and the candy store before they go into the chocolate factory. And I could see that type of a theme over in the corner there as you walk
Yeah.
in. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
No, it'll be
Yeah.
fun.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Todd, what year did you go through LCV? Because I got somebody here. I think maybe they were your year.
Well, I wish I could tell you. I think it was 14.
Okay, 2014. Okay, so this isn't that year, but want to just say that Deborah Schwartz Glickman
Oh,
gave
you
us a
know
shout
what?
out for 2009.
2009. No, that wouldn't have been me.
Okay, that wouldn't have been no problem. One of our current LCV members is watching, and she's all about black licorice when you pulled up the red line
Okay.
there. And
See,
then
there we go. There's a
yeah,
market for it.
too funny, too funny.
There's a
And
story
then
behind that, Todd.
yeah,
Okay,
and
all
then
right.
and then Rebecca comes in saying, you know
Rebecca,
what, yeah, the
yeah.
best class ever. Everybody
Well,
always says it's the best
that's
class,
us.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. We're coming up on just over 15 minutes here. I want to kind of wrap it up because we're trying to keep these anywhere between 25 to 30 minutes in length. But one thing I'd love to give you the opportunity, is there something you'd like to say to your patrons, your attendees that would come to your restaurants, or maybe even your workers that you haven't seen in a while? Eric, I'll start off with you. A message to people that are watching or maybe who will view this in the future.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. I would say that to everybody is that, my staff misses our people that come in to visit us, our valued guests. I miss my staff terribly. Um, I just miss being part of the whole experience for a diner. And, it's all about people. I'll always say that the most important thing in life is people. And as they transition into the normal, we're going to have to all adjust to that. But the bottom line is, if you don't have a love for people and for your guests and for your staff,
Hmm.
then you have to really think about why you're doing things. And so for people that are going to be joining us soon, just know that we will be exceeding the health standards, as I'm sure Todd can attest to, that restaurants have always been, most restaurants that I know of anyway, have always been exceeding what we do for cleanliness
Yeah.
anyway. I mean, washing your hands incessantly, keeping everything clean, that's just part of what we do as restaurateurs. So just whoever's going to be visiting our restaurant, just know that they're not going to have to worry about it. It's not going to be us that's going to be the problem. It's going to be unfortunately the people that bring it in that say, "Gee, I've been coughing all day, but I feel good and I'm hungry."
Right.
Right.
So, and we're going to
Right.
prevent that because all it takes is one person
Yeah.
to bring in a sneeze or a cough, and you're all over. So
Right. You
we're
just
going to
gotta
be
be
like a little hospital room, just in a dining environment.
right. Right. So we just gotta be smart before we go out. Just make sure you are healthy and
Absolutely.
So forth. Yeah, no need to
Absolutely.
take the risk for everyone else. And Todd, is there a message you'd like to say to the community?
Yeah, I'd reiterate that. I mean, obviously there's a lot of things being put in place, regulation, checking temperatures, that kind of thing for our employees. So, I mean, I agree. It's going to be a safer environment. You know, uh, it's, we're looking forward to, um, you know, a new design in restaurants and seeing what that looks like and hopefully people embrace it. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge for our customers because they want to all pile in. I get phone calls every day. When are you opening? When are you opening? When can we come back? It's interesting. I've had guests that I had one call yesterday. How's it coming along, and can we just come in and help out somehow? Give even if it's just they want to be part of what's happening. And I said, well, we've got to get to the point where we can allow people into the building, but they're very anxious to get in, and so it's a good sign. They're waiting. They're anxiously waiting.
Yeah, people are ready. They're ready to go.
Yeah,
most definitely. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for taking the time on your Friday to do this. It's definitely talking about something different, with COVID-19 and so forth. But thank you for taking the time. Thank you for being alumni of LCV and helping promote the program. I will say that next Friday, we're going to continue this Friday series, and we have some more of the current class of 2020 that are going to join us. And we've been highlighting each of them through this process as well. One thing I'll share with you guys being alumni, as a board, we decided to just extend the class of 20 to the class of 2021. So where we left off, we missed about the last 4 sessions. Once we're able to hold sessions again, hopefully in the fall, late fall, or maybe even early 2021, we'll be able to finish out those class sessions and then have a graduation for those class members, as well as for you guys that don't know, this is the 20th class, and go figure, the 20th class would take 2 years to finish. So, yeah, go figure. But I do want to put it out to any other LCV alumni who are watching this, or class of 2020 that is watching this. If you'd like to be a part of one of these lunch conversations, as I shared, we're going to continue them on through the month of June and continue this process as much as possible. We'll do them as much as you want to be part of them. So definitely email. The email is going across the bottom there if you want to be part of them. And be safe, everyone. Todd and Eric,
thank you, Sean.
again. You guys have a
Thank
great
you, Sean,
Memorial Day
everybody.
weekend.
Good seeing you, Eric.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
thank you all.
You.
Okay, Todd.
We'll see you.
Take care.
Take care, everybody. Bye now.
Bye.
So the live broadcast is over, gentlemen.